Greetings, welcome to the new decade. Hey Scorpio, thank you all for joining me. Welcome guys. How did you spend your New Year's? That's of course if you're looking at this video in 2020. I know some of you will view it before then, so you've still got ample time to set aside something relevant or special for yourself as that new year energy comes in. It's going to be a powerful decade. By the time we get to the end of the 20s, and I know I'm rushing that along a bit, you won't realize how different it's going to be from when we start right now to the end of this decade. It's going to be like a hyper jump into space, believe me. So you have to be firmly grounded in your ideas, what you want, what you're seeking. You have to have faith in yourself. You have to know yourself. You have to seek inner to find what it is you want, who you want to be, and where you want to be headed. In fact, that's probably the reading there and then of itself. We will do a reading, of course. Part of the January astrology is there is a conjunction of Pluto, Jupiter and Saturn, and some astrologers are labeling that as a mind-blowing sound of change. It's massive. It's only happened twice in the last 2,000 years, and we're beginning to see that change take place now. For example, the current or the recent election they've just had in the UK, the Brexit election. Now we see Scotland wanting out of their scenario. We're seeing global change everywhere, at every level, and especially political countries' boundaries, the way we're treated and things like that. This is the beginning of the 2020 decade, the move into the age of Aquarius. Jupiter is the expansion of power as well. Now you'll feel these energies from the first, for 5 months before the transit is happening, and 5 years afterwards. Remember, we've also got this powerful eclipse to go out of 2019 with on the 26th of December. Now before I started, I did a little bit of intuitive work for you guys, and the words that you got were, these are pretty cool: I am open and receptive to new avenues of income. And after it I've written yay. And then I've got the number 9, which is about endings, the endings of cycles, and thinking that you're heading into a new decade. So some of you are literally going to be ending a cycle soon, or moving, preparing yourself into this new decade. I've also got the message third eye, trust your instinct, Scorpio, because you guys have the power and the passion and the psychic awareness to really connect with your higher self, to collective consciousness, to cosmic energies, and these will give you some of the answers and guidelines for you. So really tap into that third eye, gut instinct, higher self energy for you guys. But I loved your mantra, I am open and receptive to new avenues of income. So this is for Scorpio for January for 2020. What is coming their way, and how are they going to start the year? What is the most important What is the most important thing for them to focus on? There's cards everywhere. I'll have to get them. They've gone on the ground, as well as this one here. Stand your ground. That's the 7 of Wands. Just give me a minute while I get these two. And then you've got 2 of the Pentacles cards, the 8 of Pentacles, positive movement forward, and number 4, firm foundation, the 4 of Pentacles. So there is money on your mind. There is possibly financial change coming for some of you, and this might be beneficial change. It could be change in terms of how you are working or creating money or spending money, or how money even comes into your life. This one here, the firm foundation, talks about not over complicating things around money and not living in the realm of money completely. So not letting the physicality of finances take hold of your life. Like, make sure that you keep a balance on it. The firm foundation is a good idea. It talks about making sure that you shore up your finances. So if there are things that need tidying up, such as mortgages or loans or documents that haven't been signed, or if you're looking into certain possibilities around business ventures or partnerships or things like that, make sure there's a firm foundation involved in that. I do have a lovely red jasper stone in the shape of a pyramid that I often put on this card when it turns up to increase the vibrational frequency that is coming through that area of the body for you guys, also giving it that strong pyramidal foundation feeling, so strength at the base and moving up to the apex. This card can also represent something in this part of the body around the base chakra energy that needs attention, some sort of activation, some freeing up. Now, if any of you are having trouble with finances, this can be because there is a blockage there, or there, you know, and it doesn't have to be a physical blockage. This can be an emotional trauma blockage, it can be a mental blockage, it can be a spiritual block that prevents you from obtaining this free manifestation of the physicalities of life. Now remember, the physicalities don't just include money, they include the safety of your home and well-being, your family, your roots, your soul tribe, your physical possessions, including things like the clothes on your back, things that you might have like your technology or your iPhones or your laptops or computers or your cars, vehicles, things like that. So for any of you who have had a block or who have felt a lack of manifestation in those areas, then perhaps it's time to really free up that part of your body, especially at the emotional level and the mental and spiritual level. The card can represent a little bit of money coming in, and it can come in from family members. So this could be way of a loan or an inheritance or a gift that is gifted to you. And sometimes around this time of the year, Christmas, for those of you who are involved in Christmas, sometimes we do receive gifts from others, and they can be a little bit of money. There's also the opportunity for some of you here, I see it as movement, like travel. We see this boat in particular here, and we see the mountains here. So some of you may be opting to travel. Spending time on or near the water could be really beneficial, or outdoors with nature and in and around mountains or places like that that will give you this connection to earth, this energy, and you can absorb her energy during periods of meditation or just spending time with her and listening to your inner voice or collective conscious or cosmic energies talking to you. And that's the message we had earlier about you guys trusting your third eye instincts and becoming more connected with your psychic abilities. This one over here is standing your ground. This is the Seven of Wands. This is also about career quite often. So we've kind of got money and career all tied up in here in the sort of the beginning of this new decade as we're moving in. So I think for a lot of you this might be on your mind, some sort of change that could be taking place, ideas that you've got, propositions that you want to be moved into. If there's been something on your mind or a project you've been working on, it is suggesting that you stand your ground and keep going. Just remember though that sometimes this does require due diligence, and it requires input and energy, hard work and determination. You know, it's not easy to just stand there when something like this is what you're facing. So don't give up, but make sure that what you are doing is logical and sensible and has been looked at from all perspectives. Some of you may need to find extra information about some of these ideas or projects, or I can't think of another word. It's ideas or projects or compositions or something that you're doing. Some of you are working with others, and the others may not be either fully on board or integrated, or they've got some ideas of their own, which may be conflicting a little bit with your overall strategy or patterning. But you know, we always have to compromise, is a great word, and sometimes when we compromise we move forward quicker, and their ideas may not be wrong, it's just that they may need a bit of tweaking as well. So just remember that if you're working with a group of people. So I think we'll just see if there's one more for you from the John Holland, but we've clearly got messages here of career, jobs, money, finance. Oh yes, one came out there quite sharp. Oh, heartache and loss. Okay, maybe I should have stopped a little bit sooner. So the heartache and loss card is the Three of Swords. It can literally be when there is a little bit of a problem in a relationship, and sometimes this is a romantic relationship. So I often do put a heart on the card where this heart sits. If you have a look there closely, you'll see that there is a heart that she is holding. She is in a wee bit of grief as she is pondering life's changes, and this can be an unexpected trauma or a problem that comes up. It doesn't have to be with your intimate partner. It can be with a group of people. It can be with 3 people involved. It can just mean that there has been a communication breakdown. So this can be a time where talking through things or seeing a mediator or a counsellor can be very, very beneficial. So for any of you going through trauma or problems within relationships, whether it be family or friends or work colleagues or a close intimate partner, this could be a time that you have to make a decision about whether it moves on, you let it go, or whether there is a healing to take place, or whether it is elevated to a new level of understanding and communication. It may not be solvable right now. It may take time. It could take 3 weeks. It could take 3 months. But if you really want to try and save it, communication is without doubt the key, because this is a swords card, and the swords are about talking and communication. And remember that communication also involves listening. So we don't always do the talking, we have to listen, and listening with intent and understanding what others are actually saying to you. So quite a strong message here for you guys. You know, if some of you are involved with these 2 here, the stand your ground and the heartache and loss, it might be for some of you that you are actually at a point in time where you are choosing to let others go because there is not enough of a common ground anymore, or they are creating a negative field around your prospects or ideas or projects or your way forward. You will have to decide which one of these is standing out for you most and which way the cards connect in terms of that. But yeah, it's, and it can sometimes involve an air sign person as well. Let's have a look and see what these cards have got to say for you guys. This is for Scorpio for January 2020, the new decade. What would you like to tell them or show them or have them focus on, Scorpio? Yeah, great. The law of attraction, giving and receiving, and a creative project. So in a way, they're talking quite nicely in terms of these cards at the back as well. The law of attraction is each thought is an investment that pays immediate dividends, so invest wisely. You have the power to choose your thoughts and align them with love, peace, and harmony. At your request, we will gladly attune your energies to higher frequencies. So this law of attraction card is often talking about attracting those desires that you want in your life, including happy and healthy relationships. So the thoughts that you invoke or the thoughts that you choose to use in your mind are partly how you manifest the attraction of either calm energies or a satisfying relationship or a healthy body or a healthy mind, and so on and so on. So that's a beautiful card to focus on, and the law of attraction does work in reality, and it is a little bit of training that is involved to take us to the higher planes or the higher disciplines of positivity. So when your thoughts are in the realm of positives, then that's what you're sending out to the universe, then that is what comes back to you. And it's a little bit like going to the gym to get fit. It doesn't happen in one session. It won't happen if you just do this once. It's a continual, perpetual change of cycle that needs to take place for the manifestation to be able to occur. So no better time than the beginning of a brand new decade to bring into this timeline what you manifest and what you want to desire. And you do that through the law of attraction. I also see lots of animals down here, so some of you may have animals on your mind, pets for example. Some of your pets may need attention or help one way or another too. And for some of you there might be a new pet or attention. Yeah, I guess that's what I said, coming in. More pets over here. I wonder if any of you are going to Australia or any of you are in Australia. We could spend a minute right now sending blessings to Australia because they're having some of the worst wildfires ever, and their indigenous population of kangaroos and koalas and some of their birds are suffering immensely, and there has been a lot of loss of life for them. So any blessings passed forward is the act of giving and receiving. So when you give out goodness and kindness and goodwill and charity and love and positivity, in the very act of doing that, that is partly how you are manifesting all of those things to come back into your own life. So sending blessings of goodwill to the innocent creatures that can't save themselves from these raging bushfires is sending it out to the universe, and that reverberates itself back to you. The cycle of giving and receiving is also about being in balance, so balancing your mind, body, soul, and in doing so, that balance creates more balance, which allows flow. So when things are in equilibrium, you know, like that, as opposed to that or that, then the flow is much easier to come into our life, and that's how you achieve receiving as well. When you're in equilibrium, and to receive you must give. So some of you are on the cycle of receiving something in, and that matches the card that it's sitting under, the firm foundation, which can be receiving money from others. And some of you will be on the giving cycle, and as I said, just giving prayers and blessings to the innocent animals would be helpful, and also to the people, of course, who are suffering in these terrible bushfires as well. The creative project, it's a fabulous card. The more you look into it, the more power you will receive. So looking in is like receiving an attunement, like an angel attunement, or power from above, from the cosmic, from the energetic waves that we can't normally see, but these energetic waves have come in as white light. Of course, around this time of the year, there's incredible white light intensity on the planet. There's the Christed white light, there's the higher masters, there's many of the angelic beings are activated and flowing around. Sagittarius is crossing the galactic center, I think it is, right at the moment. That's extended light. We have the summer and winter solstice on December the 21st, so we get a lot of this powerful energy surging into the planet, and it looks like that, but we just don't often see it. So when these energetic portals are around, you can tap into them, and this is how you receive some of your creative inspiration. And we've sort of set that up here, that was a project for some of you, that you could have been on a creative project. And I didn't actually talk much about the positive movement forward with the Eight of Pentacles, which is a card of sound finances and, you know, just keeping on going, not giving up, basically saying that you're on the right road, and to just keep applying diligence and hard work. And we talked about hard work over here. So this is not a time to slack off, Scorps. This is a time to apply this diligence and hard work and balance and dream of the manifestation of things coming in. This card also talks about possible lower back problems, things to do with the hips, thighs, buttocks, as well as the internals like the colon, the intestines, stomach issues, you know, celiac disease, irritable bowel syndrome. Some of you may need to go to a doctor to get that tested, and some of you may have small minor surgery on parts of the body like that. But coming back to the creative project, this is the time to shine, you know, to really crank into the universe's ability to give you this creative force. So utilize it, connect with it, get into your third eye instinct, the higher energies that come in through the crown chakra and illuminate your mind with ideas for creativity and successful projects. So it's a time to take action. Let us see just a couple of cards from here. This is for Scorpio. What would be good for them to know at this time, to focus on as we move into 2020? For Scorpio. Any more? Oh, okay. Believe. See? Believe and have faith. I said before you had to compromise sometimes, and they're just saying don't compromise. So St. Hildegard of Bingen and St. Agnes of Rome. Some of you may travel to Rome, some of you may have connections with Rome or Italians, or something in your life around Italian energies. In the back here I see a lot of musical notes. So for some of you this could be about music or the arts in some way. So to have faith and believe, and there's more of this beautiful white light, the golden light coming in. That's very much back with the creative project again. If you've had a roadblock or you've been pondering should you go further with a creative idea or with music or production or acting or writing, then do something with it, take it further, act on it, become, you know, impassioned about it and really take the step forward. The don't compromise could be talking about this. There may be some deception that has gone on within this relationship area possibly, and it might be time for some of you to let go of someone, and there isn't necessarily the need for you to compromise at this point. This relationship may have served its time, and whilst it's painful to see it go, we generally should be learning from the events that took place, and then growth is what takes its place as it ebbs away. So some of you are getting the message of don't compromise, and it could be too with the stand your ground. Stand your ground is also a little bit the same message. Don't compromise. You know, be sure in yourself and have faith and be strong. Those are the messages there. So I thought perhaps we could finish off with one other card. These are very, very powerful. They're quite intense. So we will just do it for you guys anyhow, because this is such a powerful time in the beginning of this decade. Life is changing rapidly in every perspective. So these cards can be something that you can come back to whenever you are either ready to understand the deep messages within them, or when you need a boost, or anytime, really. So this is for Scorpio. What is their message for the final part of this reading for January 2020? Quite difficult to shuffle because they're so big. Okay, we got this one. Goddess Kali and Black Obsidian, Sacred Revolution. Okay. So I do have some Black Obsidian. So I will put that on the card, and then I will focus it in, and I will read the last part of this out to you, because they are quite strong messages. 4 and 6 is 10, which adds to 1, which is about new beginnings as well. So this is Goddess Kali and Black Obsidian, Sacred Revolution. We bring you the empowerment of sacred revolution. Revolution comes when a cycle of authority or power is ending. It has become inadequate for the task of leadership now required, and a new order must be established in its place. It is not simply a chapter within a book drawing to close, but an entirely new book, perhaps an entirely new genre opening up according to divine will unfolding. In such cases, subtle change is not going to cut it. You need radical action to bring about the new order. That new order may be in your world or in your own being. When revolution is sacred, the new order will be that which allows you to become more of yourself to successfully attain your spiritual goals. Kali is a goddess not known for her subtlety. In the spiritual tradition from which she originates, she is called on in times of war when demons seem to be getting the upper hand. She is the only warrior determined and vicious enough to destroy the destroyers. She is unstoppable, except for when divine consciousness tells her that her job is done. Her appearance marks a time of sacred revolution that cannot be stopped until it has come to successful completion. The nature of revolution is the overthrowing of an existing hierarchy of control to replace it with a new one. Usually there is a philosophical and political purpose behind the process, and that often involves forcibly overcoming an exploitive abuse of power by those in positions of authority. God, I've got to stop reading it just at this point in time, but this is exactly what's happening globally around the world. This reading is like boom in your face. This is what we're going through, this dawning of the age of Aquarius, and so much stuff is changing. This card is mighty powerful. It's telling you how globally we're moving forward. So I think this is a really powerful invocation to be listening to for you all. As I say, come back and re-energize yourself with it whenever you feel the need to feel the strength of Kali and the power. So I'll go back now to reading it again for you. I won't read the whole thing again, but I'll start back at the chapter. The nature of revolution is the overthrowing of an existing hierarchy of control to replace it with a new one. Usually there is a philosophical and political purpose behind the process, and that often involves forcibly overcoming an exploitative abuse of power by those in positions of authority. However, revolution without a sacred component to it won't necessarily result in transformation or healing. There may be change. Different political parties could come to power, for example, but often enough it will be the case of the same problems with different perpetrators. What sets aside a revolution as sacred is when it comes at a time when genuine transformation rather than superficial change is possible. Change takes courage. We have to be willing to let go of what we have known and bear uncertainty, whilst we explore new possibilities and eventually evolve into a new way of being. Even with that willingness, there are times when a pattern of the past has become so lodged in the psyche that gentle evolution is not possible. You could imagine it like a person screaming in unnecessary panic. You may try talking to them in soothing tones, but if they are about to jump in a car and drive away, putting themselves and others in mortal danger, then a sharp slap might be in order to snap them out of hysteria and into the present moment. It's extreme, but it's helpful and necessary in a situation like that. In our inner world, the hysteria and panic might relate to letting go of a relationship we believe is our life raft, when in truth, if we keep holding on to it, it's going to pull us right over the edge of a cliff down a life-ending waterfall. Or perhaps it's a way of relating to power based in fear rather than loving empowerment. No matter how hard we try, we just can't seem to give up our attachment to feeling in control, or we are so attached to the life we have known, we aren't willing to fly free from the nest, stretching our wings and discovering our destiny. Where gentler methods aren't effective and divine timing requires change to happen now, sacred revolution is involved. Kali may stomp into your life and kick you out of the nest so that you realize you can fly. She may rip the life raft out of your hands, causing you to splutter temporarily until you stand up and realize you can just walk safely out of the rampaging river. Or she may knock the control freak dominating your mind on the head and set up her own temporary divine dictatorship where she simply repeats, "Love yourself and let go," until you just do that. Love yourself and let go. When the oracle of sacred revolution comes to you, you can be sure that you and your life are going to change. It might feel as if your hand is forced, or even if you are choosing to go with the process, that it is wild and out of control. It will be. But that doesn't make it unloving or unsafe. When revolution is sacred, it is divine love realigning your life. And although there will probably be chaos, you can be sure that the new order eventually imposed will be worth it. Viva la revolution! So there we are, Scorps. That is a massive way to finish the old decade and to march into this powerful new one that I have honestly been telling everyone. The change coming in this decade is so big, it's so immense. We've got to be on board with our own personal changes and be in power of the changes. So like the sacred goddess Kali and the black obsidian, take it and run with it and feel life and fly into this new decade. Hey, thank you all for joining me. I wish you much love and much newness of life, much happiness, many challenges, because that's what makes you who you are. Please sub the channel. I love it when you leave your comments, you guys, and have a wonderful New Year's Eve and walk into the 2020 decade. Take care. Much love. Namaste.